You are watching Channel Adrian TV.
YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, X. What up? Welcome to another sneaker review, and this sneaker review is for the Nike Air Tech Challenge 2, or what I like to call the Air Jordan 4 cousin. But before we even get into the shoe, y'all know we have to talk about the shoes on the table. On my right, which would be y'all left, I did do a review on the Air Jordan Wheat 13s because the Air Jordan 13 Cherry / Chicago, whatever you like to call it, comes out next week. So I did do a video on that. The link will be in the description. And to the left, I have the Air Jordan 4 white cements, and I also did a review, and I'll make sure to leave that in the description as well. And the correlation between the shoe that I'm about to review and the Air Jordan 4 is because, as I said earlier, this Air Jordan 4 came out the same year the Nike Air Tech Challenge 2, and there's a lot of similarities between the two, and that's why I personally call this Nike Air Tech Challenge 2 the Air Jordan 4 cousin, because of the similarities. Now y'all, before we even start talking about the shoe, let's talk about the box, which it does look very 90-esque. As you can see, I love how it's kind of the palest orange, and to me, when I look at this box, it does scream 90s. You'll get the Nike Air on the side of the tab of the box, and the label does say Air Tech Challenge 2 Quick Strike, white, racer pink, light smoke gray, size 11. And when you open the box, you will get a lot number on the top part of the box, and you'll get the white paper. You'll get a Nike Air tag that I did take off the shoe, and in the right hand corner you'll get some numbers that refer to the shoe, and then after the underscore you'll get the dimensions of the box. The Nike Air Tech Challenge 2 is one of the most iconic tennis sneakers that's been recognizable because of Andre Agassi. This shoe debuted in 1989, but this colorway, the racer pink colorway, actually came out in 1990, and this shoe represents Andre Agassi's personality. You saw his long hair, him wearing bold colors, which went against the culture of tennis back during those times, because most people were more conservative and they would just wear pretty much basically white. And even as a kid, I did not know who Andre Agassi was, but noticing how he was wearing bright colors and seeing his long hair, especially when I got older and seeing his picture in magazines, I would ask, like, who is that? Because everybody in tennis pretty much looked the same. This shoe was designed by Tinker Hatfield, and you know Tinker Hatfield's responsible for a lot of dope shoes. The Air Jordan 3, the Air Jordan 4, the Air Max 1. And when Tinker Hatfield was designing this shoe, if you remember on my last video when I talked about the Air Jordan 13s, when I showed the sketch Tinker did, when Tinker did a sketch for this shoe, it said anti-social club, because Andre Agassi's personality and his flamboyant style, like I said earlier, was so different than the country club, clean cookie cutter image that tennis had at that time during the early 90s. When this shoe first originally dropped, it wasn't for men, it was actually for women. It wasn't until later on until they started making these shoes and actually started to advertise and target to a more male audience. Now let's get into the detail of the shoe. All around this shoe has a nice leather, the white tumbled leather, and you notice on the pink swoosh it's tumbled as well, which is tumbled leather, and then you'll have the gray overlays of tumbled leather as well. Like I said earlier, this shoe definitely reminds me of the 90s, just going from the colorway itself. And then right beside there you'll see the overlays and underlays of gray tumbled leather, and right there, right above the swoosh, you will see the gray wing. As I said earlier, just looking at the shoe and holding it, you can see the similarities between the Air Jordan 4, because the Air Jordan 4 has a wing as well. You can definitely tell where Tinker got inspiration from the Air Jordan 4, because as I said, they look pretty much alike, just a few differences. And my favorite part of this shoe is towards the bottom of the midsole. You'll see two sections, one on the back side of the shoe and one towards the forefront of the shoe, where you see these two spackle splashes of racer pink, which I think it's dope and it really helps the shoe pop. And when you get to the midsole, what I do like about this shoe is how they have it sectioned. In other words, you'll see the gray layer before you actually get to the midsole itself, because if it would have been white, it would have been too plain. So having that gray there does help bring out the overall overlays and underlays of gray with the shoe. And when most people look at this midsole, they mostly think, especially the younger generation, will mostly think of the Air Yeezy when Kanye was making shoes with Nike, but no, these shoes came first, so it would be the other way around. And the midsole is a polyurethane midsole, and speaking of the midsole, you do see the visible air unit. Like I said, the same thing that's in the Air Jordan 4, you see it on the shoe as well. And then when we get to the front of the shoe, it does have a wide toe box. This shoe is wide footer friendly. As y'all do know, I wear a size 11. To me, honestly, these fit just like Air Jordan 4s. So whatever you wear in Air Jordan 4s, you should pretty much stick true to size. But I always give my sizing for y'all to help you out. My feet in length are 10 inches and 5/8 in length, and width is 4 inches and 3/8. Just go by my measurements and what you normally wear in Air Jordan 4s, you should be fine. And the tongue of the shoe is white, and I don't know what material that is. It's not mesh. It feels like a different type of, I honestly can't say. I do not know what type of material that tongue is, but the tongue is soft. And when you look at the bottom of the tongue, right over the eyelets, you do see those little wing tabs, just how you see on the Air Jordan 4, but 2 different type of wing tabs. And you will get white laces with the shoe. And when you look at the top of the tongue, it will say Nike with the swoosh and that racer pink. And y'all do know, unfortunately, it's a white sock liner. Y'all know I hate white sock liners because they do tend to get dirty even when you wear clean socks, but it goes well with the shoe to where I'm not even mad at it. And since we're by the tongue of the shoe, let's go over the production date. The production date was August 21st, 2024 to October 23rd, 2024. And y'all, for the insole, it will be pink, that racer pink with the Nike Air on the heel. I'll make sure to give y'all close-ups and B-rolls of that. And before we get to the sole of the shoe, one thing I do like actually about this shoe is I like the middle-aged look. Now, it's not bad. Would I prefer white? Yes, but the middle-aged look, I do like how it doesn't make the shoe look bad at all. And the tabs in the front of the tongue also have that middle-aged shoe look. You won't have to feel bad about trying to keep your midsole clean because it's already aged. Now, when we look at the sole, as you can tell, I've been wearing it. I actually do need to clean these, but you'll have 2 different pods of herringbone traction. At the top, it will be in that racer pink. On the heel, all the way up to the mid part of the shoe, it will be in black, and you'll see an outline overlay in gray, and you'll see the Nike in pink. Around that, you'll see the Nike in pink surrounded by white. But y'all, overall, a dope shoe. I got this during all those Christmas sales. I got these, also got the tart colorway, and I also got the Flints. I think I only got these for what, $60, because I waited. I knew that they were going to be sitting on the shelves, and I knew during Christmas time they were going to go on sale. When I hold these shoes together, y'all, you can see the similarities. I'll make sure to put B-rolls of when I was talking about the shoe itself. But like I said, this shoe right here is a cousin of this shoe. But either way, I like both shoes, and this is what I was saying in previous videos, how a lot of these shoes were made by the same person or same 2 or 3 people, to where a lot of these shoes look the same, but just minor detail switches completely change the shoe, as you could tell from these Nike Air Tech Challenge 2s and Air Jordan 4. Even though they have the similarities with the eyelets having the wing tabs over them having the wings at the very top of the shoe, the visible air sole unit, all these little things and similarities, but still enough differences to where they're 2 complete different shoes. And one thing I like to do is go back in time when these shoes were either retroed or released and what was going on during pop culture in that time. So when these shoes came out in 1990, we had movies like Ghost, Pretty Women, Goodfellas, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, House Party, More Better Blues. And for music, we had Belle Biv DeVoe's Poison, Janet Jackson's Escapade, MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This. And those movies and music jump-started the era of the 90s, where a lot of people would say the 90s was the best in pop culture when it comes to movies, music, sports, and fashion. And as far as sneakers, y'all know from my previous video I've done talking about the Nike Air Griffey Max 1, the 90s era will be the best when it comes to sneakers. Now, as far as everything else, can be debatable. But y'all, let me know if you did get the Nike Air Tech Challenge 2s. Y'all remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, if you want sneaker reviews, Sunday service to get you motivation for the week, police body cams, relationship reaction videos, any video you could think of, subscribe to Channel Adrian TV, and I will see you in the next video.